Welcome. I've talked about this before. Decentralized finance, I think, is going to do extremely well. So today I'm going to point out two in decentralized finance. One is an exchange and one is in borrow lend. They have two major things going for them. One is revenue is really picking up, and two is the volume is really picking up. And I always say volume precedes price. This has a lot of buying pressure, both of them. So stay tuned. I'm going to go through both of them extremely quickly. It's going to be a short one, but these are going to be hopefully some of the lower risk, but still provide a decent reward and allow you to diversify. I'm Brian. Welcome. I've got some links down below. If you want to have crypto in an IRA so you can avoid taxes legally, of course, I Trust Capital. Use the link below. You'll get an extra $100 in your account. I've got two exchanges that I like, BitUnix and MEXC. There's bonuses as well if you use the links down below. And at the end, I'm going to talk all about my school community because these are the types of things you're about to hear that we talk about every day in the community, courses and discussions. So let's get into it. AAVE in the borrow lend category and Uniswap in the decentralized exchanges. Why? Because AAVE and Uniswap are both old school. They've been around for a while. They were back in the 2021 run-up. Uniswap was probably the most used decentralized exchange, and AAVE was probably the largest borrow-lend protocol back then. So let's look at their pricing. First, AAVE. If we just look at their pricing back in 21, it hit a peak. It looks like maybe around $700, and this is on a weekly, closed around 5 something. Currently, it's around 300. Here's what I wanted to point out. If you look at this line here, since after the last bull run, its volume has done nothing but up. This is on balance volume. On up days you add, on down days you subtract. It gives you the idea of where is volume moving because volume precedes price, and this is upward pressure. So even though it's had a run up of back in 23 around $40, $50, whatever it was, 60. So it's probably had a 4 or 5x already. It ran up back in the November, December timeframe. So did a lot. So you want to look at it and say, all right, it's what, $300 price currently had gotten up to like 500 or 600. Let's just see and look at market cap. You look at the market cap and it had peaked up here around maybe 8 billion. And now it's around 4 or 5 billion. You often want to look at this to see if you have the same ratio of current market cap to past when you're looking at price, current price to past. Because sometimes the pricing might be down. Like it's at 300, it had been 600 in the past. And if the market cap was the same, you'd say, oh, looking at pricing, I think I'm getting a cheaper price. But if the market cap's the same, well, maybe I'm not getting a cheaper price because the market cap has the same valuation. So then you look at the number of tokens out and that sort of thing. So if we look at AAVE, number 28, so it's in the top 30 cryptos. And basically everything is out because it's a 4.7 market cap and a 4.9 fully diluted value. Total supply 16 million, pretty much everything circulating. So that's not a problem. The ratio of market cap from now to the past and the ratio of price from now to the past, about the same ratio. That's not a problem. Volume is crushing it. These are fib lines, but they go all the way back to 21. How valid that is, I don't know. That's not where I'm putting stock. Here's where I'm putting stock in. And that is, let's look at, and this is one of the many reasons I love decentralized finance, is that we can get information from a third party. Of course, they're getting the information directly from AAVE. I believe they're pulling it. But regardless, I go into AAVE. You can, on DeFi Llama, just type in AAVE. You can go to fees and revenue. I put it on a monthly, much easier to read. If you look back to 2021, looks like it peaked around 60 million or so. And now it had, let's see, last summer doing very well, of course. We had a run up. And then November, December timeframe, even early January, it's 80. So it's 30% more. And then just recently in August, 90. So from, 60 to 90, that's 50% more. And this was back in the run-up. That was when altcoins and alt season was going crazy. This is not yet alt season going crazy, and it's already doing substantially more volume. Now, should this volume and what it's done be baked into the price already? Yes. Probably why it's already had a 5x or so run up. However, looking at the volume pressure, even if we pull it back here, we're still getting great volume movement. It's still pushing upwards. I think it's going to break to the upside. So if you're looking to diversify and you want to minimize your risk, all crypto is risky, but these are large cap with a lot of liquidity, been around for a long time. AAVE is the largest in this category, and I think they'll do well. Now, what kind of multiples will you get? That remains to be seen. So I would say, even though the multiples may not be as high as some of the other borrow-lend protocols, this isn't a bad one to look at from a risk-reward ratio, in my opinion. Uniswap, do the same thing. It hit back in the 2021, hit up around $44. It's around $9. We look at the market cap, the ratio of current to past. I already did the math. It's basically exactly the same as the pricing from current to past. Let's look at them. They're number 25 out of all crypto. I was going to say out of 30. So both of them are in the top 30. 5 billion or almost 6 billion market cap, 9 billion fully diluted. Total supply 1 billion. It's about 60% are out. Not a problem either, because we looked at the ratio pricing to market cap about the same. Again, you can go to DeFi Llama, type in Uni for Uniswap, pull up their revenue over time. About 251 million to be exact, back in this 21 run-up in terms of fees from all the swapping and trading going on. It had a nice run-up summer of 24 when things moved. Again, November, December, January when things were moving. And now just recently in August, they had a really great month. So here's another one. And if we look at their chart, their volume, I wanted to point out here, from this point back in 22, ran all the way up. It's still on an uptrend. Then recently, a huge uptrend. Now, you can, as you see, you can move the scale here to make things look more impressive or less impressive. But if you do the math, you're going from 5 to 9, and the volume went from 200 or so to 800. So that's a 4x in volume and not quite a 2x in price. So the volume recently, back to May, has definitely been outpacing. In my opinion, volume precedes price. This means a push to the upside. Again, where's this one going to go? I have no idea. Again, it's multiples, but it's also a risk reward. It's a large market cap, lots of liquidity, been around, tried, trusted, true. We know it does what it's supposed to do. The real question that we really can't account for is, we're seeing that they're doing fees, but of course there's multiple exchanges out there, and they're ones specific to different chains. However, this is one that's been around. It's not going anywhere. Fees are going up. I think from a risk reward perspective, if you want to diversify, this being in the decentralized exchange, Uniswap, and looking at the pricing, it was just recently at a $20. So risk reward ratio, I think this is a good one. I think it's conservative. May not be huge gains, but probably a whole less volatile than some of the others. So those were the two I wanted to point out. The other thing, if we look at, like we usually do, the total market, the others market, all the bull run signals, everything's just consolidating, going sideways. Nothing really impressive there. Let's just see where it moves, what happens this weekend. But again, we'll look at everything again tomorrow. But since I had just done those categories and made pricing sheets, for those of you that aren't that diversified, and maybe not even in decentralized finance, exchange, or borrow lend, I believe those two categories are going to do extremely well. And if you want to diversify and you're looking for things that aren't that risky and easy to buy, because being in the top 30, you're going to find them on any exchange that you like. So from my perspective, I think decentralized finance is going to be one of the top 3, if not the top moving category. If you're looking to diversify inside decentralized finance, because I do split them out separately, I look at borrow lend, very different than exchanges, as well we should. And looking at those two, the two oldest, the two largest, the two with the most liquidity, and substantial volume pressure volume precedes price, AAVE and Uniswap, risk to reward ratio, I'd say these are some of the least risky. The multiples may not be as high, but a great way to diversify. They're in the top 30, easy to pick up on any exchange. Love how I break things down? Then hop into my crypto school. You'll get step-by-step courses on everything: buying, selling, staking for yield, borrowing, lending, even going fully debanked. Plus, join lively crypto chats and catch my daily market updates. And lastly, if you just want to help support the channel, there's a join button just below this video.